the Metallica of today is a far different beast to the one which first stepped on stage in Los Angeles back in March 1982.
They took a bunch of different bands and basically threw them in a blender and sped it up. So for me it was like a lot of stuff they did was almost familiar.
Just the over-the-top craziness. I mean, they were playing the kind of music nobody really had done too much before. I mean, there was Motorhead and, Venom and stuff like that.
But it was sped up with, attitude and everything else with it, No one else was doing that at the time.
The teenage band started out by playing covers of British bands such as Diamond Head, Sweet Savage, Venom, and Blitzkrieg, who were making waves at the time as part of a new movement in music called the New Wave of British Heavy Metal.
You wouldn't have thought that these bands from Newcastle and these working men's clubs in the north of England would have had a profound impact on these American bands, but they really did. It's because the music was so fast and so heavy compared to the music which had gone before it.
More than anything else, it was a new wave of British heavy metal that inspired them. A, because Lars Ulrich himself really got into the whole new wave of British heavy metal ethos to the point of coming over to England and following bands around and sleeping on their floors. And B, because they were excited by the energy and dynamism and DIY attitude of Nawabum as it was.
The drummer, Lars Ulrich, somehow managed to get himself onto a metal compilation album, even though he couldn't play drums and didn't even have a band. So he advertised to get a band together, and of course they had to go answer and he put the band together, and that's how they basically formed the band.
The first track that got noticed by people, Hit the Lights, which appeared on the very first Metal Massacre compilation album put out by Metal Blade. At the time when that happened, there wasn't really a Metallica lineup, but Lars had got to know the guy who ran Metal Blade, Brian Slagle, and he just said, look, if you can get a lineup together and go in the studio and do a song, I'll put it on this record, which represented what was going on in the Bay Area and in America particularly on the underground metal scene at the time. So that was really the birth of Metallica.